Okay, so here are 6 things you could do to make your workplace transgender friendly. 1. Integration. In your company, hopefully a senior manager will represent transgender rights within the company. This could be somebody that would attend the LGBT meetings, send out communications, but somebody that's a very, very visible beacon. The reason for this is because in the organisation you may have trans individuals who want to transition and are too scared to, or those who already have but haven't shown or expressed themselves to the company at this point. Try and find out within the company how trans people have experienced your organisation. This could be via the switchboard or reception or via your interview processes. And when you're writing your policies or planning any initiatives, try to consult more than one trans person. As I've highlighted, our experiences and journeys are very different. 2. Reach out. As you remember in my earlier part of this talk, there were no companies in the 90s that were very trans visible, so you need to get out there and show your trans credentials. Maybe sponsor a trans event or donate to some trans charities, or possibly write some targeted publicity for placement within the trans groups. There will also be changes in legislation for trans in the future, and it would be good if you could say that you supported it on social media. We all look at social media and we will see that your company is supporting that, and that will be good for your brand. 3. How welcoming is your organisation? So think about, for instance, your switchboards. How would somebody running your switchboard handle a voice that doesn't match up with the gender name? Your reception, the same thing. You're having an event, somebody's booked the event as a male and turns up expressing as a female. How would they handle that situation with names? Pronouns. How would your reception handle pronouns? Why don't they use the term something like, I have a visitor for you, instead of I have a lady or a gentleman here to see you? If in doubt with pronouns, it's actually okay to ask somebody. For instance, saying, I want to be really respectful, and clarify which pronouns you use. And that's fine, providing you actually ask everybody that within your reception area. Can you remove gender from all your written communications? Do you actually need gender in any of your policies? Maybe you should think about putting a gender-neutral toilet in if you don't have one. 4. Challenging prejudice. Now, this could take the form of intentional misuse of pronouns, so calling a trans woman he, for instance. Also asking inappropriate questions, such as, when did you have your surgery? Or can I see photographs of you before you were a woman? Also, social exclusion is another form of prejudice within the workplace, so not inviting somebody out to the pub when you're all going out for a drink. Also, within the prejudice thing, remember about Section 22 of the Gender Recognition Act. Remember that that is confidentiality. You should not release somebody's gender history as part of any interview process or anybody in an official capacity within your organisation. It is in fact a criminal offence. Try to educate your staff on trans awareness within the company. Better awareness means probably less prejudice. And also empower your staff to challenge prejudice immediately. Do they know how to do that? And if they don't, maybe you should train them in how to. 5. Creating trans heroes or trans allies within your organisation. What do? Well, not being silent when they view transphobic behaviour in the company. Representing your rights within the company when there are meetings going on. For instance, if they're at an LGB meeting, representing wearing a sort of T hat to make sure that trans rights are also brought to the front of any agenda. And also responsibility of a trans ally is also keeping up with the subject matter. It's ever changing and the language is often, it changes, and keeping up with that is actually an important part of that role. One other thing, if you've got straight allies in your company, you may have to create trans allies or rebrand the whole lot of LGBT allies. 6. Your employment practices. Try to think about trans positive statements in your adverts. For instance, we particularly welcome applications from the trans community. Make sure trans groups know you're recruiting. That could be your advert on their notice boards within the organisations. So look at CVs, for instance. There may be gaps in the chronological history, and this might be because the trans person may not have told their previous employer that they have transitioned. Also look at references. Once again, they may not have told their previous employer that they are now expressing their gender differently. Remember Section 22? During the process, if you do discover somebody is trans, don't out them. If you don't recruit them, destroy all the paperwork. If you do recruit them, well, you should then protect their history, making sure that first-line HR staff don't actually have access to those records.